We have to face the fact that at least within the last couple of years, through illegal and mass migration, we have increased a problem that has been there for a long time. And yes, securing borders, controlling who's coming in is part of the analysis we have to do, but it will not be the only one.
You said last year that if refugees were to cross the borders of Germany illegally, then the police should be allowed to shoot at them. Do you still believe that?
Now you see, that's not what I said. What I did was to quote the German law of how to secure and control a border. Well, my exact quote was in German, so let me translate into English. I said there were all sorts of measures we have to take, first of them being a political signal to countries of origin to tell them that we cannot accept unlimited numbers of migrants and refugees in Europe and Germany. And I said at the last resort, at an ultima ratio, there might be the use of weapons. But there's a law clearly stating all the details of that, and I simply refer to that.
There are people in your party, and indeed in other populist right-wing parties that are doing very well in Europe at the moment, who want to basically see the number of Muslim citizens in European countries who potentially might be involved in terrorism sent to prison, put under detention, put under surveillance, put in isolation. Do you agree with that policy?
We don't think that putting anyone under isolation or putting someone into prison without any suspect, there's a question about that. But we have to face the fact that we have a clash of cultures, not only in Germany, in France, in Belgium. We see that many values of the Islam, especially of radical denominations of the Islam, do not agree with our European values and regulations. So we have to talk about these clashes. We cannot simply ignore them.
When you talk about a clash of cultures, is there something that you think is intrinsic about Islam that doesn't fit into German culture?
Oh, there's a number of characteristics that do not fit into Europe. First of all, look at how women are treated in Islamic countries. That has nothing to do with the right of the women and girls in Germany and Europe. The same with the Sharia and our Grundgesetz or other democratic values. They don't fit together. They don't agree with each other. Simply look at the fact that crossing a border will not get rid of your cultural background.
But the threat of terrorism in Europe in the last year has very little to do with the flow of migrants or refugees from the Middle East into Europe. It is all about homegrown terror. These are people who don't feel accepted in their communities here for one reason or another. And that's not by any means excusing what they've done, but the point is that the borders won't solve the problem.
I didn't say that controlling the borders would solve the problem completely, but we have to decrease the possibilities of more potential terrorists coming in. We have to basically achieve that there is no more moving in of potential terrorists into Europe. And that is a problem according to our security agencies.
But Frauke Petry, is there not a danger that if you push people too far into a corner, perfectly innocent Muslim citizens of this country, many of whom don't identify with the Muslim faith themselves, that you're going to create an even bigger problem than you have at the moment?
I can't see that we push anyone into any corner. What we see that what happens not only now in Brussels, we see what happens all over the place in Germany, that we have very many people, hundreds of thousands of people coming in, not being used to our rules and regulations. And we also have had over the last decades people already living in Germany who don't identify with our society. So we have to have a discussion about our cultural and social values.
Do you want to see the end of the European Union?
I think we need a new vision of Europe, of countries working together in fields where it's necessary, but being sovereign in national questions.
You sound just like Nigel Farage of UKIP.
Yes, what's the question?
Do you agree with him? Do you think Britain should leave the European Union?
Well, I think that's a very difficult question for Britons to decide. From a German point of view, I do not want Britain to leave, because doing that we would, as Germans, lose a very strong partner in reforming the EU. So personally, I'd like them to stay, but I can understand Britons deciding for leave, because the advantages of being inside European Union sometimes just level the disadvantages. But that's a question that has to be decided by Britons themselves.
Frauke Petry, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.